Well, hello everyone and welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Robin and this is Knotting Hook Crochet. And I feel like I haven't been on here in forever, even though I know it's only been a week or so. So today I have a lot to share with you. But the main reason we're here is for the temperature blanket update, but we're going to get to that last. First, I want to show you what I've been working on. Now, I was showing you guys my sweater last week, and I did finish it, if I can hold it right. Now this is, oops, I got one end working. This was working off of someone else's instructions on how to do a raglan style yoke, top or sweater. I think it's turned out really pretty. I did like a solid purple trim around all of it. The only thing that I would do different is the shoulder part. It said, take a shirt that you like how it fits and measure the neckline from the back. So mine came up where the measurement would come out to 30 stitches, which I thought was kind of high, but okay, that's what I just did what they said. And then for the front, if it's going to open, it would be 30 and you would deduct a stitch or two from each side for it to make that opening. But then for over the shoulders, you would take the front, one side of it, plus half. So I think that might have been a little too much. It's like the back neckline and the front neckline is a little bit lower than I would like it to be for being a sweater. But other than that, it turned out great. And my few ends that I still have to work in. And it's amazing. This took 6 things of the I Love This cotton, plus a little bit of purple for the trim. But when you're holding those 6 skeins of yarn, it doesn't feel that heavy. But when you work it up like this is like really heavy, weight-wise and thickness-wise, because that was a 4-weight yarn. And it's just all double crochet, just basic. So I will give that another try using a lighter weight yarn and not quite as many stitches going across the shoulder. And it worked up really quick. I was surprised how quick it worked up. So that's the sweater. And then we did a throwback, a blast to the past, like the 70s. And we did this granny square vest, tank top, whatever you want to call it. They called them rib ticklers because they're supposed to fit tight. Me personally, I don't want to show off in tight. But for people who have a more flattering shape, the tight look would be nice. Especially, I think that's kind of in style now. They wear the shirts untucked and they have the little vest over top of it. Like a pullover style vest. It looks cute. Or, I don't know, I'm not current on things, so that could already be gone. It changes so quickly. But we did this, and there is a tutorial on it. And we did the 70s style gaucho poncho. And what I liked about it was this nice, the collar, it made it different from the ordinary poncho. Now, again with the colors, this is the project I wanted to use the plum on. And I did a poll, and everybody was saying, or most everybody was saying, use the sage green with it. And it just, when I worked up my little swatches, I didn't like how it looked, especially when I stepped outside in natural light. So I went with the maize and mahogany and the tweed. And I think maybe my yellow, I could have got away with the mustard or the goldenrod and it would have looked nice with this. But there's also a tutorial on this. And I think it turned out pretty nice, considering my colors. So, yeah. We've been working hard. And one last thing. So I was like trying to get all my patterns organized that, I've collected over the years or I've purchased or, So I got myself a notebook and some page protectors and I was sorting them out and I came across this one. Was a old pattern book from for doilies from, I think it was the 60s. I don't know, but whenever that pattern book was new, it was 29 cents. So whenever things like were 29 cents. And I bought it a long time ago. I think I picked it up at a yard sale. And with the intention, because I had never crocheted a doily before, that I wanted to try and crochet a doily. When I was younger, doilies weren't my thing. I wouldn't use it to decorate in my house. But now that I'm older, I appreciate the fact of having that doily setting up underneath that item so it doesn't scratch the wood or the surface of your table or whatever, the mantle. They help. So when I was putting this stuff away, I was just like, all right, let me look through this. And so I picked one out. Now it said to use article 40 crochet thread. I don't have that stuff because I just don't work with that. But I did have a number 3, which 40 is super thin and number 3 is the label compared it to a number 1 weight yarn, regular yarn. So I'm like, how much different could it be? Now with the 40 and using the size hook that they recommend and all that, it should have come out around 13 inches. Mine's a little bit bigger. Now I still have 2 ends to work. I just pulled it off the blocking mats. I'll put that picture in so you can really see. This was the center where that flower is. That wasn't bad. When you get to this part here, and it's this part, it is you cut your yarn away from the main part that you just did, and you have to do this chain, and then you turn it, and then you single crochet, and you turn again, and it's so you end up making this pretzel shape. And I must have attempted 4 or 5 times before I'm like, okay, that kind of looks like the picture. And then, because you're separated from the main part, you have to reattach. And for me, it was very awkward. So I finally figured out a way to hold it and attach at the same time. Hold the big part and try to attach these little pieces. So you go all the way around, you make all these little pretzel things. And then you do a mesh ring around it so that you can end up putting the little triangle parts to it. So I get all this done. I get down to, now there's 10 of these, 10. I get down to having 3 left to make. And I start counting the loops, and I'm 1 loop short. Are you kidding me? So I lay it out flat and I'm checking it out and I can see where I made a mistake. So I pull all of that out. Go back to where my mistake was, redo that mesh ring before I start my triangle raise or whatever. Let me count it, make sure I got it right. Still isn't right. So I lay it out flat again and I look, and if I go right back, almost to the beginning of where I started to attach these pretzels, is where I made a mistake again. So I pulled it all out, redid the ring, redid all the rays or triangles yesterday while I was watching a Harry Potter marathon. And let me tell you, my thumb is so sore. Just, oh, the muscles just ache in it. But I finished it, did the blocking. I got 3 little ends to weave in. And mine came out to, it's just over 2 feet. You know, like if you go from point to point on a triangle, it's just over 2 feet instead of 13 inches. So almost double the size using the 3 weight and a 2.75 millimeter hook versus the 40, article 40 thread, and I think it said a 0.9 millimeter hook. So this would work if you had, like, say, a round dining room table. It would be great underneath a centerpiece or something, or even just placed on the table for a centerpiece. And I did red because that's what I had. You know, who says all doilies have to be white? So that has been my crochet adventures. A few other things too, but like testing the waters on things. Like I started this messenger bag using a V-stitch granny square, and the way I wanted to put the sides together is not quite working out, so I have to pull that out and come up with a different way. And Jenna made herself a star-shaped messenger bag, and she wants me to do a video tutorial on how to make the star-shaped messenger bag. So I was playing with the way she did her star. Took me a few times to like get it, because I'm like, how come this side has less stitches than this side? And then I figured out what I was doing wrong. So I had started and I made up one side of it, and I don't like my color choices. So I had her pick out some colors, and that's what we're going to use when we go to do that. So that will be up and coming. And then she likes to wear like choker style necklaces. So I was playing with making some little choker necklaces, and I came up with a couple of designs. So that'll be coming up soon. And yeah, let's get to the temperature blankets. Now we do have 3 shares this week. One is a new share, and 2 of them are repeat sharers. They're repeating, they're giving us updates on their previous shares. So we have Barbara from Virginia, and let me just say, all 3 of these people sent pictures, because last week I said, you know, people were being slackers, and I was including myself into that, because I was like last minute finishing my 2 weeks. And again, this week I was last minute finishing my 2 weeks. But it's like, there's so many other fun things to do with the crocheting that I kind of like sat it on the back burner, and then it's like, oh no, I got to catch up, because I was doing it like a couple times a week, and I just get wrapped up in these other things, and it just kind of gets set aside, because I'm like, it's not going anywhere. We've got it for a year. So anyhow, I was not trying to guilt anybody last week. It was a joke. I was trying to be funny. Sometimes my humor doesn't come off that well. But these three, they sent in their updates. Well, Barbara, no, one new person. Barbara and Saga have both shared with us before. Now, Barbara got a little bit behind because sadly her husband passed away and she couldn't bring herself to go into the room where the things were at. So she was finally able to achieve that. And Barbara, our condolences to you. We're very sorry for your loss. She was finally able to go in and get her things, and she is doing 2022, and her blanket is now through mid-May, and she's in Virginia, and she's using 9 colors, and it's turning out really super nice. Barbara, you're doing a great job. Then we have Saga, and I'm drawing a blank on where she's at. I know she's one of the international people that share. And her picture is showing April with a little bit of March and a little bit of May on it. And she does say thanks for the boot. She needed that little kick in the boot, you know, to get her back on track. But her husband and daughter are also making blankets as well. But the daughter's away in college. She'll get caught up when she has her summer break. And her husband is, I believe she said her husband is current, but we have the picture of Saga's. Now, our new share is from Joyce. And Joyce is in Arizona. Now, she, right off the bat, with her email, she says, I wasn't slacking. So hers is different because she's doing granny squares and she's doing a polka dot pattern, and she was inspired by Jada and Stitches to do this polka dot pattern. So she needed enough, because 1 square is a week, but she needed enough to squares made to be able to share something, because, you know, oh, here's 1 granny square. Oh, here's 2 granny squares. But so she's got enough put together now. She is using the average high and the average low. The blanket will end up being 7 by 10. So that's going to give her 70 squares. So she'll have like the 52 weeks, the month divider. Then she has a few extra for special days like her birthday or maybe Christmas or something. She is using a G-hook and Simply Soft yarn. And the one thing that really stands out to me about her blanket is she made a special spot for the year. Mine, I'm going to buy tags for it so that I can have, you know, birth year and current year. And so that if somebody were to ever see it, then they would be able to tell what's going on. Why does this look different from this? But I love her color choices. Joyce, fantastic. Just fantastic. And thank all 3 of you. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And if anybody else would like to share their projects, I will pop my email in right here somewhere floating around, and just shoot me an email with the picture and a little bit of information so that I can share with everybody, and we'll get you on here. No problem. I love it. I like seeing what everybody else is doing. I like knowing that other people are suffering through this temperature blanket with me. And still, I say I don't regret doing it, but I don't like the wait. I don't like waiting for it to happen. I'm one of these people that if I have my mind set on doing something, I want to do it right now. So, anyhow. So, we ended 1 month and started a new month, so we have a divider row in here. For the birth year, we had a high of 91 and a low of 77 over the 2 weeks. Okay, so we started about 2 or 3 rows underneath the rust. The rust was our 91 day. So I think that was 91 was the 4th day into the week. So 3 rows under there. We're doing the cognac. We got to throw in a row of rust. Back to the cognac, the curry, cognac, and then the month divider. And then May, it looks like it's alternating between the egg yolk and the curry so far. So that is birth year. It's so warm in here. I'm just waiting for it to get warm enough for the AC to kick on. I'm about ready to go lower the thermostat, but I am sweating. And then we're talking about temperature blankets and all these hot temperatures. It's like, doesn't help. Anyways, so for current year, we had a low of 79 and a high of 88. So you can see the egg yolk sticking out there right before the month change. That was our low of 79. The rest of it was all in the low to the upper 80s. Oh, not much green in this year's. It's all, you know, everybody keeps telling me they love the fall colors that I picked. It wasn't planned that way. I really expected to have the blues and the greens in here too. And it just isn't working out like that. But it is definitely looking like a fall colored themed blanket. And at the in January, we had just a touch of green. But it really was not planned to be a fall, at least I don't think, not consciously, maybe subconsciously, but consciously I wasn't planning on it being a fall colored blanket. But I do like the colors. I do like that color scheme. Up next, let's do the side by side, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so birth year is on the left, current year is on the right. We're at the top of the blanket, so that is current month. And we'll work our way down just a little bit. Can't go all the way because it's not fitting on the table. It's going to end up being longer than I expected. There we go. Okay, so that's it for today, and we will see you in the next video.